have the greatest job in the world, and that's working with dogs.
Best in Show winner is the French Bulldog.
Winston won the National Dog Show. It was amazing. It was exciting. And to have a dog to be #1 dog in this country, you have to have great nutrition. And I always fed Pro Plan. Just like us, when we eat well, we feel good. And I just love that food and what it's done all these years to all the dogs I've bred and all the dogs I've shown.
Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I am your host, Laura Reeves, and I'm excited, you guys. We have a very special guest today. Kerry Nichols is the author of a new book called Puppy Brain, and she has done an amazing job taking the knowledge and the information that we want John Q. Public to have and putting it in a format that John Q. Public can understand. And I am so excited, Kerry. I'm really welcome to the podcast. I'm really thrilled to get a chance to talk to you.
Thank you so much. I'm really thrilled to be here and honored.
Excellent. So give us you've listened to the podcast. Give us the 411. What's your background? How did you come to this wonderful, wonderful world we call dog breeding?
Yeah. Well, I don't think any of us have a straight line. You might have a straighter line than most because of your mom, but I was just raised by a family that loved dogs. I mean, for sure, golden retrievers. We always had a golden. I think from the time I was born until the time I left for college, we always had a golden in our family in the mix. Right. But my parents were just huge dog lovers. And anytime there was a stray dog or, anybody needed babysitting, we just always had this flow of dogs coming in and out of our house. So that was in me. I was one of those kids that wanted to be a veterinarian and was raised in a family of lawyers, and my parents had a big, microphone in my head. And so I, and my brother and my sister both became lawyers. And so I'm the baby of the family. It just made sense for me to go into law. And I found that I very much did not like the practice of law. And so at around that time, and my husband and I had met. We were married. I had moved to the Central Valley of California. We had a golden retriever named Daisy, and we had scraped together enough money to buy a little 3-acre plot of land. And we, back then we said, gosh, wouldn't it be great? We could raise every animal. We could raise, we could have baby horses, and it just kind of like the fantasy.
Right.
And when Daisy died, and she was 8, hemangiosarcoma, golden retrievers.
Welcome to it.
Yep. And so I had seen some imported Goldens prior to losing Daisy, and I'd really was struck with their appearance. They were, and of course, classic Golden Retriever. It's just a known that if we pass a Golden Retriever, no matter where we are in the world, I'm going to stop and pet that dog.
For me, it's a mini dog, so that's just
yeah. But I will stalk like, oh, there goes a Golden Retriever. And so I had started to reach out to some Golden Retriever breeders and found that either the wait lists were impossibly long, or to my dismay, there were a lot of people breeding who didn't have health clearances. And I, at that time, I have that research gene in me. I'm a lawyer. I can't help it. I can't help it. And I had begun to really do a deep dive into what should be present in a dog that I was going to purchase, and was really having trouble finding one.
Right.
Which then that little seed that had been planted years ago of maybe one day we'll have baby horses. We tried baby horses. That's
a lot. Baby horses are a lot.
Yeah. And they taught me a lot. Horses taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, I just, my husband actually said, what do you think? What do you think about maybe getting a little more serious about that dream we had talked about? And so I spent a couple of years really learning everything I could. And this is back like early 2000s. So we didn't have the kind of access we do now. I bought CDs, I absolutely immersed myself in the world of the golden retriever. Um, and then, the rest is history.
There you go.
Fell in love,
Fabulous.
fell in love with the dogs and fell in love with the people that came
Mhm.
with the dogs.
Yeah, always, always, because that, I mean, the
Hmm.
extended family is what keeps
Yes.
me going 40 years later. So
Yes.
I feel it.
Yes. And that was a surprise to me.
Right.
I hadn't really thought that much about
Mm.
the families and the people that we would meet. And it has just been the biggest, like, just blessing to our family. We feel very, very honored that they choose us and that they become our friends.
Hmm. Yep. It's some of my best friends to this day are people that bought dogs from my
Yes.
very first litter. Or going
Yes.
back to some of my mom's breedings, I mean, that's
Yes.
just, it is a through line for all of us that breed dogs. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about what brought you to this book, what informed kind of the information that you have in the book. I mean, it's beautifully done. So,
Thank you.
talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, I I think that first off, we all know you have to prepare your families. Like, the more prepared your families are, the better your puppies' lives will be. And so I started, from litter number one, just started sending home. I started to joke around, hey, you're enrolling in Nickelberry boot camp. Like, if you're not ready to read and watch and listen, I'm not the breeder for you,
Right.
because I really want you to be ready. And that actually evolved into requiring that our families take a training course. I really want them to be prepared, because we've all seen it go badly when they're not, and you send home this lovely puppy who very quickly gets into trouble, and that's heart-wrenching to see.
Yeah.
So I had this whole backlog of it was a private blog that I was
Mhm.
keeping for our families,
Mhm.
and basically they needed to read a pretty hefty article or watch a video every day
Mhm.
for the 8 weeks that their puppy was growing. I mean, so
Aw.
yeah, is a lot of information. um, and then somewhere, I think it's probably been maybe I'd have to look and see, maybe 7 years ago. I had younger kids; they wanted social media. I knew it was in their future. I thought I better start to, like, get familiar with this social media thing, and I started an Instagram. And I thought, oh, I'll just post the dogs. I won't post my kids. I just wasn't one of those. I wasn't going to post my kids. But I thought, oh, I'll post the dogs, and then I can get familiar with how this works, and I'll know that for my kids, right?
Mhm.
When they want to do social media. That's what I was thinking. Who knew? Life is
Who
so
knew?
funny. And I just posted and posted, and it was like I had like 100 followers. It was no big deal. And then I don't know what the secret sauce. I mean, I kind of have ideas about what the secret sauce was. I am such an autodidact that when I learn something, I feel like the information hurts me if I can't share it. I have to get it out there. And Instagram is such a you have back then, it
Yeah.
wasn't even, you had a caption, right? I mean, like, I was trying to stay within like 2,200 characters to explain, like, socialization, or
Right.
like, why you don't want to isolate your puppies, or these concepts that why we do early noise desensitization.
Mhm. Mhm.
And my Instagram really took off, and that I realized it's like this biofeedback loop. I
Mhm.
would make an offhand comment like, oh, well, after mom chewed the umbilical cord, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd get, 15 questions. What do you mean mom chewed the umbilical cord? What about the umbilical cord? Whoa, tell me about the umbilical cord.
Right. Right.
And I realized, oh, people really want to know these weird little details that I think only us weird people want to know.
Right.
you
Right.
know? Yes. And so I just began, I've grown with Instagram, and as
Mhm.
they've created more tools for people, I've taken advantage of that. I post mostly informational content, occasionally just cute puppies, but it's a commitment. I mean, content creation is no joke.
No joke. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's no joke. But I just feel like, I've been given the platform.
Mhm.
I understand that
I would think
there
maybe
are
you built
strong.
the platform. So.
Okay. Okay. I built the platform. It's so funny because people will say to me, well, yeah, it was easy for you because you have cute puppies. And I'm like, oh gosh, not so much. That's not so true.
It's I think that I mean, so there's a couple places I want to go right here, but where I want to go right this minute, the transition is I think that the ability to work social media to reach
Mm-hmm.
out to the general
Mm-hmm.
public, right? To the people that aren't just us
Yes.
weirdos, right? That is something that I think we in the purebred dog world could say we are woefully inadequate at. And
Yes.
so your top 3 tips for building that
Mm.
huge Instagram, you have 90 bazillion followers now, right?
Yeah.
What's your top 3 tips for that? What can my listeners take and say, okay, I'm going to share the joy of Sholo Exquentlies, not golden retrievers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
what is it?
Right.
What are they?
Okay. One is it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm.
And I've never been asked this question, so I'm going to see if I can distill it to 3.
If
Meaning,
you need 5,
don't
you know.
okay, don't think that you're going to post 10, 50, 100 posts and you're going to get this following. It is consistency, consistency, consistency. And I've, begun building on other platforms, and I just kind of nose to the grindstone, know that it just takes a long time. And so you have to commit to whatever you're going to commit to. If you're going to post once a week, if you're going to post 3 times a week, that you do the thing that you've committed to doing, and then you do it for the long haul. You just know that's what you're going to do. The second, I think, is authenticity,
Mhm.
which is why I think it doesn't work to hire a social media manager. Um, I've had arguments with people on this topic, but there's no way I could have never hired anybody to do what I do, because, and I heard Mel Robbins talk about this too, that, when she first got started, like, she's a podcaster,
Mhm.
that she would just respond to people's DMs constantly, and, because she wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And I spend, my kids will joke and say, Mom, your screen time is way higher than mine. Yes, my screen time is really high, but it's all in my DMs.
Yeah.
I'm responding, it's in my comments, I'm interacting.
Mhm.
And that's fantastic, because the questions will inform your content. The
Yes.
questions you get back over and over again tell you, oh, I need to post on this. Like today, I posted fireworks desensitization. And I said, it's really great to give your dogs a frozen food toy. And I've only posted a million times about frozen food toys. But here we go again. What do you put in them? I got 10 questions immediately. What do you put in them? Because I have new followers.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, I'll post on that tomorrow morning. See, so it's creating. So
Yep.
so there's that. I think you have to do it yourself so you can be in touch with what you're doing. Third tip, I think it's super important that breeders allow people to see what they're actually doing on a daily basis. Um, Yesterday, someone asked me to vet a breeder for them of a different breed, and I went on the website, and it said that they followed puppy culture protocols,
Mhm.
and they have a big following on Instagram. But I couldn't find a single video that demonstrated puppy culture protocols.
Right.
So that's fine to say it, but I don't just trust that they're doing it. I want to see them doing a barrier challenge, right?
Right.
So I'd say that, let show what you're actually doing, so that it's not the cute puppies.
Yes.
That's not what people want to see. I mean, they do, but it goes beyond.
I have found this has been sort of, I am nowhere near your level of, like, not even close in terms of following, but I have found so much engagement. The last couple 3 litters I had what I call puppy spam cam.
Oh,
And so every single day there was a photo or a video of puppy spam cam talking about whatever it was we were doing. And that was just on my like personal Facebook, but
yes.
I got an enormous amount of engagement from that. And
Hmm.
so I can attest, listeners, to what Carrie's saying. This 100% works. And I've seen people, friends of mine, then take that and take it and put their own spin on it. And I think that is so valuable, again, as we reach out beyond our tadpole circle, right?
Hmm.
Our tiny
Yes.
little tadpole circle to the general public, to John Q. public, the average person who just wants a freaking dog,
That's
right?
it.
They
Yeah.
don't want to sell a
Yeah.
kidney. They don't want to give you their firstborn. They just want a dog. And so helping
Hmm.
them understand the process, I think
Hmm.
makes such a difference.
Yes. Yeah. And it builds trust. I mean, really, that's the bottom line is that it's very difficult to know who you can trust. And if you feel like you can see that person, I mean, I'm not a big fan of being like on the other side of the camera. So it's
This
until
took
puppy brain.
forever, I have to say.
Oh
You
my
want
gosh.
me on a video? This is a
Yeah.
face made for radio, people.
Oh, exactly. That's how I feel, and I'm like, the puppies are cute. Can't wait to stay with the puppies,
Right.
but I knew that, like, with my book coming out that I had to, like, get on
Mhm,
there a little bit
mhm,
more. But
mhm.
I built a lot of trust just with, words
Yeah,
and communication.
yeah, absolutely.
Trupanion is revolutionizing medical insurance for pets by providing the best possible experience to our members. And it's not some space age dream, it's happening now. We pay your veterinarian directly while you're checking out, and we're the only ones who can, which means you have decisions in seconds, and you don't have to wait for reimbursement. So, unlike with other providers, you'll keep more money in your pocket. Ask your veterinarian if Trupanion can pay them directly, because there's pet insurance, and then there's Trupanion.
I'm Laura Reeves, the host of Pure Dog Talk, and I'm coming today to talk to you about Brilliant Pad. And it is amazing and an incredible way for me to do my potty training with the puppies and not ever have to touch any yucky stuff. Brilliant Pad literally rolls the mess up and you never touch it. So I really wanted to talk to you guys about that, share with you the experience I had with it. It's like the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Okay, so next segue. Sorry, this is like what do they call that? Rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, so Kerry, we've been talking about all this stuff. Tell me about your resources, right? Where you went to find the knowledge that you've now taken and shared with us in Puppy Brain, right? Who are your mentors? I mean,
Okay.
it's a lot, right?
It's a lot. Yeah, I actually, Puppy Brain, the references, it's a 33-page document, my citations.
Jeez.
So we put that, I know. So we put that onto a website because it's just too big for the book.
Right.
But okay, so I mean, I have pulled from everybody and been so grateful to everybody for their willingness to share information. Your podcast has been super helpful to me. Dr. Greer, Revival Animal. There's all sorts of great content on there. Puppy Culture was a great resource. Avidog. UC Davis did a breeder symposium years ago that was fantastic.
I remember
And
hearing.
yeah, and when I attended that, I saw a repro vet there named Dr. Christensen, and
Yeah.
yeah, Bruce, and he's just absolutely, you know, there are so many vets like him who are willing to mentor and answer questions
Yeah.
endlessly, and he actually peer reviewed the spay and neuter chapter in my book, and his series, the Cocapelli
Hmm.
webinars have
Hmm.
been. I'm actually, this is all surreal, but I'm presenting on there on the 24th after listening for years and years, and I'm like, oh, this is weird, but he's just been great. Dr. McVetti, she reviewed my end of life chapter,
Hmm. Hmm.
Lap of Love. I mean,
Hmm.
so many vets. Dr. Lippman, who obviously she's on the cover of the book and endorsed it, has always been willing to answer questions. So many vets, so many breeders that there was one breeder on my first litter, and she just held my hand, over the phone. I was so afraid.
Hmm.
And she said, call me. And we didn't know each other, right? But she said, she's a golden breeder here in local, and said, call me and I'll walk you through. You just got to breathe. She's going to pick up on your stress. She can't pick up, I just think that's invaluable that we do that for each other. So my sources range far and wide.
Well, and I think honestly, Carrie, that's for most of us, right? Like we all take and we distill and we distill and we distill.
Hmm.
And I guess I just back to the secret sauce, right? The secret sauce of the Instagram, now the secret sauce of the book. What is it when you're talking to your buyers, when you're talking to the general public, when you're answering questions about adopt, don't shop like that on your
Hmm.
Instagram.
Yeah.
How are you able to, what is, again, we're going to go with your top 3 tips for distilling what's important to us and giving it to people out there in the public in a way that they can digest it and
Hmm.
hear it.
Hmm. There's that old, I think it's a legal thing, although I've heard it in other places, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
um, and I think that's true with dogs too. I think that, if we can keep it really simple and focus on the big things that are important to people, the average person has lost a dog to
Mhm,
heartache.
mhm.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry. Obviously, it's all heartache,
Right.
but they've lost a dog to a medical condition that they want to avoid next time. I
Right.
mean, obviously, in Goldens, we're talking cancer.
Mhm.
And so, if we can help them understand, we're not wizards, we're doing the best that we can. I'm going to have everything I can to make sure that my dogs are as healthy as possible, and I'm reducing that risk to the greatest degree that I can. Right.
Right.
I think that just helps people understand, like, it helps them have, like, again, like, going back to the idea of trust, that we're developing that relationship of trust with them, that I'm just being honest. I'm not promising something that doesn't pass the sniff test.
Right. Right.
Double
Transparency.
entendre.
I mean, that's one of the
Yeah.
things that has been kind of a consistent theme that I'm hearing you talk about is that transparency and talking to
Hmm.
people. Transparency, trust, talking to people, communication.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and talk to me about your um, spin on contracts and how you talk to people about those. And, the fact that the dog is going to come back to you and all of
Mm-hmm.
those things.
So, you mean my contract when I sell a dog?
Mhm, mhm,
Um, I I've changed over the years. I think, we all do, right? And so I think, like, when I first got started, I was just looking at what other breeders were doing and I was sort of copying that. And then I was actually talking with my brother, he's a lawyer and a big golden lover, big surprise. And he said, listen, I think that at some point you have to stand behind your dog to the point where I've never understood this 2-year guarantee thing.
yeah,
I've never understood it.
yeah,
He said, to me, it should be a lifetime thing.
lifetime.
And so, like, we've had this conversation, and I know that that's like the standard boilerplate in breeder contracts, but I feel like at the end of the day, what we all really do is we stand behind our dogs for the life of their dog, of the dogs, right? Like, we put into the
Mine's
contract.
always been a lifetime guarantee. So,
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
says to me a 2-year guarantee, I'm like, but this isn't a toaster, people. This this is a dog.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guarantee that the dog is going to be as healthy as I can make it for his life.
Yes.
No, I'm not Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is pretty much of a biatch. But
That is the truth. But the one thing I do put in mind is I do require, like, the impact of fast growth
Mhm,
and the impact of extra weight on
yeah,
a golden.
yeah,
There's a direct correlation to dysplasia.
mhm,
So I do require that they, there are some requirements. I won't get too specific, but I do have some requirements about the way that they maintain their dog and the way that they feed their dog. Not a
mhm.
particular.
Food.
I'm fine with people consulting a board certified veterinary nutritionist and going with whatever they
Right.
come up with. I'm fine with that. Um, but I do want them to understand that there's the genetic component and there's the environmental component. And when a dog gets diagnosed, we don't know which of those it was for dysplasia.
Not 100% for sure. You,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you do all the things you can do, and then they have a part to play. The
Yeah.
personal responsibility is part of this package deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No slippery floors, no stairs, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like, so I do require, I am with our families, and I think it gives them a lot of peace. Like,
Mhm.
they know I'm not just saying, here you go, but I'm just like, let's help this dog live a really healthy life. And here's your part of the equation, and here's mine.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, Carrie, thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate your time. You have
Hmm.
been amazing. You guys check out Puppy Brain. I think it is not only a good guide for us, just to have on our shelves, but a really great gift for friends, for family, for people outside the bubble that want to really understand what we're trying to tell them, because it does it in a way that they can take in.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Kerry. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.